Press 5 para ma-sketch nyo na. Activity today is mock board examination. Question number 1. Identify. He became the first person to use science as a method of detecting deception. I repeat. He became the first person to use science as a method of detecting deception. Letter A, Cesare Lombroso. Letter B, Daniel Defoe. Letter C, Cesare Beccaria. Or letter D, William Marston. He became the first person to use science as a method of detecting deception. Letter A, Cesare Lombroso. Letter B, Daniel Defoe. Letter C, Beccaria. Or letter D, William Marston. Question number 2. It measures systolic blood pressure as a means of determining whether a suspect was lying during an interrogation. A. Sphygmomanometer. Letter B, Emotograph. Letter C, Kymograph. Or letter D, Sphygmomanometer. Okay, I repeat. It measures systolic blood pressure as a means of determining whether a suspect was lying during an interrogation. A. Sphygmomanometer. Letter B, Emotograph. Letter C, Kymograph. Or letter D, Galvanometer. Number 3. Polygraph literally means letter A, many writings. Letter B, different writings. Letter C, various writings. Or letter D, cursive writings. Polygraph literally means many writings, different writings, various writings, or cursive writings. Number 4. The first to discover the phenomenon we known as electrodermal response. The first to discover the phenomenon we known as electrodermal response. Letter A, Leonarde Keeler. Letter B, Ron Adler. Letter C, John Larson. Or letter D, Gabriel Vigouroux. Who discovered the first phenomenon who is the first to discover the phenomenon we known as electrodermal response? Number 5. Cesare Lombroso was the first to experiment with a device measuring blood pressure and pulse to detect deception in criminal suspects. He called it a Sphygmograph. Letter B, Hydrosphygmograph. Letter C, Cardiograph. Or letter D, Pneumograph. Cesare Lombroso was the first to experiment with a device measuring blood pressure and pulse to detect deception in criminal suspects. He called it Sphygmograph, Hydrosphygmograph, Cardiograph, Pneumograph. Number 6. An instrument for recording variations in pressure, example, in sound waves or in blood within blood vessels by the trace of a stylus on a rotating cylinder. Letter A, Kymograph. Letter B, Galvanograph. Letter C, Pneumograph. Or letter D, Cardiograph. an instrument for recording variations in pressure, example, in sound waves or in blood within blood vessels, by the trace of a stylus on a rotating cylinder. Letter A, Kymograph. Letter B, Galvanograph. Letter C, Pneumograph. Or letter D, Cardiograph. Number 7, polygraphs, usually termed as lie detector, is an instrument that monitors a person's psychological reactions. Which of the following is correct? Letter A. This instrument can detect lies. Letter B. It can only detect whether deceptive behavior is being displayed. Letter C. This instrument does not detect lies. Or letter D. Both B and C. Next, number 8. Number 1. The instrument is carefully and accurately engineered for recording changes in the respiration, skin moisture, blood pressure, and pulse. Number 2. The polygraph chart tracing will reveal attempted deception as shown by physiological changes that are recorded reliably. Letter A. Only statement 1 is correct. Letter B. Only statement 2 is correct. Letter C. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct. Or letter D. Both statements 1 and 2 are incorrect. Okay, i-backread nyo na lang kung hindi nyo mahabol. Number 9. This instrument records changes of breathing of the subject. It consists of transducers and tubes which are fastened around the subject's abdominal and thoracic part of the body. Letter A, Pneumograph. Letter B, Galvanograph. Letter C, Cardiosphygmograph. Or letter D, Kymograph. Number 10. 1. Kymograph is sometimes referred as a chart drive module. 2. This is motor that pulls or drive the chart paper under the recording pen at the same time at the rate of 6 to 12 inches per minute. Letter A. All of the above are true. Letter B. Only one is true. Letter C. Only 2 is true. Or letter D. All of the above are false. Next, number 11. Which of the following are the use of polygraph? A. It is an investigative aid for the investigator. B. Confirm the statements of victims. C. Ascertain the credibility of the witnesses. Or letter D. All of them. Which of the following are the use of polygraph? It is an investigative aid. Confirm the statement of the victim. Ascertain the credibility of the witnesses. Or letter D. All of them. Number 12. During polygraph examination, when the question is blank to the subject, physiological chain reactions occur within the body that is recorded by the polygraph instrument. and can be evaluated by the polygraph examiner. Letter A, imperative. Letter B, not a peril. Letter C, not a threat. Or letter D, favorable. I repeat, during polygraph examination, when the question is blank to the subject, physiological chain reaction occur within the body that is recorded by the polygraph instrument and can be evaluated by the polygraph examiner. What is the missing word in this statement? Letter A, imperative. Letter B, not a peril. Letter C, not a threat. Or letter D, favorable. 13. Polygraph is not a lie detector, but it is an scientific diagnostic instrument. I repeat, polygraph is not a lie detector, but it is a scientific diagnostic instrument. A, true. B, false. C, may be true. Or letter D, may be false. Next, number 14. Which of the following is the initial phase of polygraph examination? Letter A, pre-test interview. Letter B, the conduct of the instrumentation or actual test. Letter C, initial interview with the investigator handling the case. Or letter D, post-test interview. Which of the following is the initial phase of polygraph examination? Letter A, pre-test interview. Letter B, the conduct of instrumentation or actual test. Letter C, initial interview with the investigator. Or letter D, post-test interview. Press 10 tayo. Press 10. Press 10. Press 10 tayo. Next, the last question. Last question na natin. Number 15. These are the direct question having an extreme and specific relationship to the crime or matter under investigation. And these are primary or key question asked by the examiner in order to solve a specific issue. Letter A, irrelevant question. Letter B, relevant question. Letter C, simple question. Or letter D, tricky question. Okay, so this is the end of our self-evaluation for this subject. You can send your answer to me via link that is in the description box, not later than 5 o'clock this afternoon. Not later than 5 o'clock this afternoon. Okay? Wala pa yung link dyan sa ating description box. I will going to upload the link the moment we end our streaming. Okay? So, thank you for listening. Have a nice day to everyone and answer properly the given questions. Okay? So, hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat. See you again tomorrow.